HTTP messages are the way data exchanged between a client and server. Here, the client is a browser and server is a web server. HTTP messages are exchanged using the HTTP protocol. There are two main types of HTTP messages: HTTP request, HTTP response. HTTP request is the message which is sent from the client to the server asking for the information or asking for an action. HTTP response is the message sent by the server to the client in response to the request. If the request is to ask for information, it's the responsibility of server to authenticate, authorize, and then go get the data needed, which is asked, and then send as a message. If the request is to take an action on the server side, take the action and send the response back to the client. HTTP messages in general has three parts, either it is a request or response. First part of it is start line, second part of it is headers, third part of it is body. So start line is a one line and there is a new line needed between the header and start line. Headers, it could be one or more lines and each line is separated with the new line. And the body is a message. It could be a string, it could be a JSON, or it could be XML file. It's up to the need. HTTP messages are exchanged in a string format. It's readable and it could be exchanged any format if you specify the content character set. The message character set is UTF-8 here. There are different types of character sets are supported. UTF-8, UTF-16, ASCII is few of them. HTTP request format is as below. HTTP request message will have, as previously mentioned, request line, that's the start line, header fields, and then empty line and message body. HTTP request format in practice will look like this. Get is a method which is used for HTTP methods, which is used to get the information. HTTP protocol defines these methods. So get is one of the method. And then doc test.html is the URL and HTTP 1.1 is the protocol. That's a request line. Host, accept language, accept encoding, user agent, content length, or the headers. So request line, request headers are the two blocks. Third one is a blank line between header and body. And remaining below that is a request message body. Request line and request headers together are called request message headers. This is the overall request format, how it looks like when you open probably the developer tools on your browser and you're requesting some HTTP request. HTTP response will look like this. The first line is the status line, which is going to be protocol version number, and then 200 OK, the status code for the response. If the status code is 200, that means all good, and you got the response back. And remaining below 200 OK is date, server, last modified, e-tag, accept, content length, kind of connection, content type, or the headers. Those are called response headers as is belonging to the response message. Status line, response headers together combined called as response message headers. And there is a blank line similar to the request message. And after that, the body is returned. In this case, the body is HTML content. If you notice, content type is shown as text slash HTML here. That means the body is HTML, text HTML. The content type defines what is the body type basically. This screenshot is taken from the Firefox website. The HTTP request and response formats look like this. The left side is the request, right side is the response. Of course, start line, headers, and empty line and body. Left side the body is JSON and right side the body is HTML. That's about the HTTP requests and responses in theory. Coming to the browser, you have something called developer tools. If you use developer tools and open up and inspect one of the HTTP request under network tab, you would see request headers, response headers being exchanged between the client and server. And if there is any parameters, parameters are listed there. And if there is any request body, response body, all are listed under developer tools.